السلام عليكم رضوان भाई.
عليكم السلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وأهل الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we will start our program right away on Tuesday night program, which features Dua Tawassul. Tonight we are also commemorating the Shahadat of our fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, alayhi salatu wassalam. Along with the Shahadat Majlis, we are also commemorating Eisal-e-Sawab, I believe the 10th of the marhum Dr. Sikandar Madad, Ibn Syed Madad. Please recite a Surah Fatiha and 3 times Surah Ikhlas for the deceased. Inshallah, we'll start with the recitation of Dua Tawassul, which will then follow by Salam and Marsiya, and inshallah Majlis for the night, and we will conclude with the ziyarat before the namaz of Maghrib and Salat, inshallah. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل
على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله يا إمام الرحمة يا سيدنا ومولانا. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين يا ولي ابن أبي طالب يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد يا قرة عين الرسول يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي، أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد، أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر، أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي يا ابن موسى، أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي، أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي يا ابن محمد، أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا وسي الحسن والخلف الحجة، أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله. Ask for your hajat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At this moment, I will request Salman Jafri to conduct the remainder of the program.
Thank you, Maulana. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for joining us tonight for the commemoration for the Shahadat of our fifth Imam, Imam al-Baqir, Islam, and also at the same time the Eisal-e-Sawab Majlis for Janab Dr. Sikandar Madad, Ibn Sayyid Yawar Madad. The program will be as always with the recitation of Surah Salam and Marsiya, followed by the lecture by our very own Maulana Rizwan Rizvi. So with that, salawat padi ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. خواتین و حضرات، ہمارے پانچویں امام کا نام محمد تھا، لقب ان کا باقر تھا۔ والد ان کے امام زین العابدین تھے، ماں ان کی جناب حسن کی بیٹی تھی، جناب فاطمہ بنت حسن علیہ السلام۔ ہمارے امام نے 57 سال یعنی 57 سال عمر پائی اور ان کی مدت امامت 19 سال تھی۔ امام کی شہادت 7 ذی الحج ہوئی تھی۔ امام کی شہادت حشام ابن عبد الملک کے ایما پر زہر دے کر ہوئی، اور امام کا روزہ مدینہ منور جنت البقیع میں ہے۔ اسی کے ساتھ آپ کے سامنے میں 4 مصرے پیش کرتا ہوں، اس کے بعد چند شعر سلام کے، اس کے بعد مرثیہ تو ایک اور صلوات پڑھی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ ہم علی سن لے یہ زمانے والے ہم علی والے ہیں، سن لے یہ زمانے والے اور راکھ ہو جائیں گے، خود ہم کو مٹانے والے اور راکھ ہو جائیں گے، خود ہم کو مٹانے والے اور یا علی کہہ کہ ہم گزر جاتے ہیں طوفانوں سے، یا علی کہہ کہ ہم گزر جاتے ہیں طوفانوں سے، پرچم حضرت عباس اٹھانے والے ہم علی والے ہیں۔ صلوات پڑھی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ سلام کے چند شعر پیش خدمت ہے، ملاحظہ فرمائیے۔ یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور دل لہو کرنا پڑے گا اس عبادت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور کچھ بھی کر لو یا علی کہنا پڑے گا دوستو، کچھ بھی کر لو یا علی کہنا پڑے گا دوستو، اور یہ وظیفہ شرط ہے رد مصیبت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور فرش ہجرت جس کا مظہر کربلا جس کی نمود، فرش ہجرت جس کا مظہر کربلا جس کی نمود، وہ کلیجہ چاہیے اشک رسالت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور کیسے کیسے اہل ایمان کتنے اصحاب رسول، کیسے کیسے اہل ایمان کتنے اصحاب رسول، اور عمر بھر ترسا کیے حر جیسی قسمت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور کربلا میں زیر خنجر کون ہے یہ سجدہ ریز، کربلا میں زیر خنجر کون ہے یہ سجدہ ریز، اور کھچ کے کعبہ آ گیا کس کی زیارت کے لیے، کھچ کے کعبہ آ گیا کس کی زیارت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور خون میں ڈوبی ملی ہے کتنی آیات رسول، خون میں ڈوبی ملی ہے کتنی آیات رسول، اور ایک قرآن الہی کی حفاظت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور بے سرو سامان ایسا بھی ہو کوئی عالی، بے سرو سامان ایسا بھی ہو کوئی عالی، اور ذوالفقار آئی ہے کام اصغر کی تربت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے مولا کی مدحت کے لیے، اور دل لہو کرنا پڑے گا اس عبادت کے لیے، یہ سمجھ کر لب کھلے بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
اللہم صل علی محمد۔
ایک سورہ فاتحہ۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، الحمدللہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم ایک اور سورہ فاتحہ جناب ڈاکٹر سید سکندر مدد کے لیے اور ہمارے مرحومین کے لیے، آپ سب کے مرحومین کے لیے اور تمام مومنین اور مومنات کے لیے ایک اور سورہ فاتحہ۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم۔ امام محمد باقر علیہ السلام کا مرثیہ پیش کرتا ہوں۔ کے لال فام کی رحلت کا روز ہے، پانچویں امام کی رحلت کا روز ہے، اور سلطان خاص و عام کی رحلت کا روز ہے، معصوم نیک نام کی رحلت کا روز ہے، معصوم نیک نام کی رحلت کا روز ہے، اور رونے کی آ رہی ہے صدا آسمان سے، لو اٹھ گئے محمد باقر جہان سے، لو اٹھ گئے محمد باقر جہان سے، اور سر پیٹو اہل بزم قضا کی امام نے، کیا دکھ اٹھائے سرور گردوں امام نے، اور بھیجا سلام جن پہ رسول انعام نے، ہو پیش آہ زیر وغا اس کے سامنے، ہو پیش آہ زیر وغا اس کے سامنے، اور کیا انقلاب آفتاب گردش لیل و نہار ہے، سجاد کے جگر کا کلیجہ فگار ہے، سجاد کے جگر کا کلیجہ فگار ہے، اور کب تاب ہے کہ اس کے مصائب کروں رقم، مولا کی زندگی بھی ہے ایک داستان غم، طفلی میں کربلا کے مصائب وہ دم بدم، تھا 5واں برس کے ستم پر ہوئے ستم، تھا 5واں برس کے ستم پر ہوئے ستم، اور ایک ریسمان ظلم میں ننھی کلائی تھی، بابا کے ساتھ قید کی ایذا اٹھائی تھی، بابا کے ساتھ قید کی ایذا اٹھائی تھی، اور زندان شام سے جو رہا ہو کے آئے گھر، فرتے علام سے روتے تھے سجاد نوحگر، فرصت غم حسین سے پائی نہ عمر بھر، دادا کا غم انہیں تھا نہیں تھا غم پدر، دادا کا غم انہیں تھا نہیں تھا غم پدر، اور عابد کے شغل جو تھے وہی شغل آپ کے، 40 سال روئے ہیں ہمراہ باپ کے، 40 سال روئے ہیں ہمراہ باپ کے، اور افسوس رنج و غم سے نہ مہلت ملی ذرا، سر سے پدر کا سایہ رحمت بھی جب اٹھا، اور فریاد آہل پہ کبھی تھی کبھی بکا، اتنی مصیبتوں پہ بھی کب چین مل سکا، اتنی مصیبتوں پہ بھی کب چین مل سکا، اور ظالم ڈرا نہ خلق کے خالق اکبر کے قہر سے، بے جان کیا محمد باقر کو زہر سے، بے جان کیا محمد باقر کو زہر سے، اور تھا دشمن امام ہر شام نا سعید، بے رحموں میں شمر شکاوت میں تھا یزید، یہ بھی عدو آل نبی صورت ولید، مظلوم پر غریب پر ڈالے ستم شدید، مظلوم پر غریب پر ڈالے ستم شدید، ادھر پہ ہوا شکی جو شہ دل ملول کا، ٹکڑے کیا لحد میں کلیجہ رسول کا، ٹکڑے کیا لحد میں کلیجہ رسول کا، اور امدہ قتل پر ہوا جو وہ ستم شوار، پیوست ایک زمین میں کیا زہر بے شمار، مرکب پہ چڑھنے کا دیا پھر حکم ایک بار، جب جانشین مالک دلدل ہوا سوار، جب جانشین مالک دلدل ہوا سوار، اور موقع دیا نزیست نے پھر قطراہ کا، سم کے اثر سے پھول گیا جسم شاہ کا، سم کے اثر سے پھول گیا جسم شاہ کا، اور نیلی ہوئی رگیں جسد نازنی پہ تھا آشکار غم کا پسینہ جبیں پہ سلطان بھی ٹھہر نہ سکے پشت زین پہ بس یا حسین کہہ کے وہ اترے زمین پہ بس یا حسین کہہ کے وہ اترے زمین پہ وہ استراب تھا شاہ علی مقام کو بستر پہ آتے آتے غشایا امام کو بستر پہ آتے آتے غشایا امام کو اور تڑپے اثر سے زہر کے مولائے دو جہاں تھرا گئی زمین ہلا غم سے آسماں اور ذی الحج کی 7ویں کی سحر تھی کہ علما جنت کو شاہدی کی سواری ہوئی رواں جنت کو شاہدی کی سواری ہوئی رواں اور وہ زہر تھا کہ جینے سے دل سیر ہو گیا ایمان کی شمع بجھ گئی اندھیر ہو گیا ایمان کی شمع بجھ گئی اندھیر ہو گیا عابد کے لال افام کی بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات محمد صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. اب میں دعوت دیتا ہوں ہمارے اپنے جناب مولانا رضوان رضوی، پلیز صلوات پڑھیے علی محمد وآل محمد.
صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. شکریہ بہت بہت سلمان جعفری، بہت خوبصورتی سے آپ نے جو ہے وہ سوز سلام اور مرثیہ پڑھا. اللہ سبحانہ تعالیٰ آپ کی توفیقات میں انشاءاللہ اضافہ کرے. Before I begin, quickly, just a few announcements. Tonight we are commemorating the Shahadat of our fifth Imam, Imam al-Baqir alongside with the Eisal-e-Sawab Majlis for marhum Dr. Sikandar Madad ibn Syed Madad. On Thursday, July 30th, at 1 p.m. After Salatul Dhuhr, inshallah, we will have live, amal of the day of Arafah. So it's a very important day these days that we are going through. So make sure that you tune in and you can follow along. The amal, inshallah, will be conducted by me on Masjid-e-Ali's YouTube channel. And then, inshallah, Shab Jummah program, which begins at 7:30, Majlis to observe the Shahadat of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil, Eisal-e-Sawab, which will be on Thursday night. And then Eid al-Adha is going to be on Friday, July 31st. Program, again, live stream only. And just like we had for Eid al-Fitr, we'll start sharp at 9 a.m. with the recitation of Dua Nudba, followed by Salatul Eid. There's also going to be, Eid Kahoot, inshallah, on Saturday, August 1st, which will be, starting at 9:30 p.m. So all of these programs, email was sent out. Make sure that you, take part and, look into the emails for the further, announcements. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال إمام باقر عليه الصلاة والسلام: يا جابر بلغ شيعتي عني السلام وعلمهم أنه لا قرابة بيننا وبين الله عز وجل ولا يتقرب إليه إلا بالطاعة له. يا جابر من أطاع الله وأحبنا فهو ولينا ومن عصى الله لم ينفعه حبنا. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The riwayat that I chose for tonight's discussion, I have chosen this riwayat from the kalam of our fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. We find that in the life of our fifth Imam, who was born on the 1st of Rajab in the 57th year after Hijrah, as you heard in the Masaib as well. And also Imams, was able to be, experience the tragic event of Karbala. And his Shahadat is on 7th of the Hijjah in the year 114. Imam al-Salam, following the, lead of his fathers and forefathers, and his Ajdad, continued on the path, regardless of how difficult the time may have been. Now, when we talk about the mushkilat and the difficulties of, our fourth Imam, which are tremendous, because after the events of Karbala, Imam al-Salam, there are not even 20 people who would stand by him to support him in the work of his imamate. And therefore, fourth Imam, had to utilize this unique method of propagating the deen and the madhab through the teachings of his du'as and the rites and other means which were, unique, because no other Imam had to utilize them and no other Imam had faced such difficulties. Now, the majority of that period of the struggle of fourth Imam, our fifth Imam is also experiencing, because he's side by side his father. Remember, he's 4 years old in the Battle of Karbala, and the Shahadat of his father is in the year 95. And up until that moment, Imam ﷺ, is already, a grown man. And so he has gone through looking at all of these struggles that his father had gone through. And with that said, his father, this is interesting, where at the time of the wafat and the shahadat of our fourth Imam, when he brought our fifth Imam close to give him the wasiyat and the nasai, and usually it is the custom, and we find and we read in the riwayat also that, in Karbala, Imam Hussein came to Imam Zain al-Abidin, and he transferred these rumuz and the asrar and the secrets of imamah to the next Imam. We see that fourth Imam is doing the same thing to his son. And he left him, a chest. And, along with the wasaya and the nasihat and the advices that he gave him and the will, he also left him with this chest. And when the chest was opened, there were books in it. Hence, we understand that Imam al-Salam, fourth Imam, is telling his son that when it comes to, struggling and fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not always that you need the weapons. It's not always that you are in need of, the arsenal of, destruction. Rather, your best arsenal, your salah and your aslaha and your weapon is these books, is this ilm, is this knowledge through which you can destroy your enemy, through which you can win over your enemy, through which you can bring success and prosperity. And that's what we find is the motto of our fifth Imam, and then of course our sixth Imam, that they are known for the spread of this knowledge. Fifth Imam is known as Baqir ilmin Nabiyyin. Inshallah, we'll have the ziyarat of our fifth Imam at the conclusion of the program. Just a reminder that Salat time is about 8:36. We'll stop at 8:36. Inshallah, I'll finish my matalib by that time with the masaib. We'll have the adhan, and then after the adhan, inshallah, I will have the ziyarat for you. So stick around for that. Then we find that he's referred to as Baqir ilmin Nabiyyin, and not just Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Baqir ilmin Nabiyyin, that he is the one who split the knowledge open. Baqir is someone who splits something open, something which is hidden, there's a veil, is not seen, and to be able to bring it about and break it open. And therefore we find that in this rawayat that I quoted in the beginning of the discussion, one of the companions of Imam is Jabir. And Imam says to him, now this is probably not Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. This is Jabir al-Ju'fi, who was one of the muhaddithin and a companion of Imam. So that's why Imam is telling him to give this message to his followers, because Jabir ibn Abdullah, who also met Imam, was very, very old at that time. Remember, Jabir is someone who's seen Rasulullah, and so he's alive since that time. So he's, at the time of when he meets our fifth Imam, he's very old. So Imam probably is not saying this to Jabir, it's probably to Jabir al-Ju'fi. He says, Ya Jabir, balligh shi'ati anni as-salam. First of all, convey my followers, my Shia, my salam. Wa a'limhum annahu la qarabatana qarabata baynana wa bayna Allah azza wa jal. That, make sure that they know, inform them of the fact that there's no qarabat between us and between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يُتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيْهِ, and no one can get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala إِلَّا بِالطَّاعَةِ لَهُ, except with the ita'at and the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam is saying, in other words, let me paraphrase, let me explain what Imam is saying. Imam is saying, don't think that we have a relationship, a qarabat, by which because you know us, you will be given a free pass. Yes, we are there for your shafa'at, no doubt about that, and we have this close relation in reference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where we have the status by which we can do shafa'at. But keep in mind that this shafa'at has to be in line with your obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you lived your life in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then you're seeking our shafa'at, it is going to be problematic. He said, La yutaqarrabu ilayhi illa bitta'ati lahu. You can't get close to him except with the obedience. Ya Jabir, man ata'a Allah wa ahabbana fahuwa waliyuna. Here Imam says this. O Jabir, tell them, let it be known that whoever obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and loves us. Imam made sure that he announced the fact that you have to obey Allah and you have to be lover of Ahlul Bayt, because these two things cannot be separated. فَهُوَ وَلِيُّنَا, so that person is our wali, that person is our follower. وَمَنْ أَصَى اللَّهَ لَمْ يَنْفَعْهُ حُبُّنَا, but the one who is disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hub, these are the words of Imam al-Baqir, our love will not be beneficial to that individual. The emphasis, the Ahlul Bayt, in the kalam of Ahlul Bayt, that you find Tawheed and the mabani of Tawheed and the importance of Tawheed is just amazing and mind-blowing. He said love and vilayat are very important, but not sufficient by themselves, as stated here by Imam al-Salam. So let's not misconstrue what we said here. Hubbu Ahlul Bayt, sometimes we hear these riwayat, is the key to the acceptance of your amal. Absolutely. Nobody is doubting that fact. But what amal? Those amal which are stipulated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to be obedient toward. So therefore, the obedience of Allah and the hub of Ahlul Bayt go hand in hand. Today, and tonight rather, I wanted to mention from the ilm of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam. He had the opportunity in the long tenure of his imamat to be able to, debate with many people and to be able to, show superiority of Islam over other religions. For example, Imam's munazara with a person by the name Abdullah ibn Nafi', who was a Khawarij. And we know the fitna of Khawarij, which again has existed all throughout the history. And inshallah, I will hint towards that as to how it is existing today. That in the time of our fifth Imam, this person, Abdullah ibn Nafi', who was amongst the Khawarij, he said, is there anyone on the face of the earth who can prove that Ali ibn Abi Talib was right in killing Ahl al-Nahrawan and that he didn't do injustice? You call Ali to be just, He killed Ahl Nahrawan. Is there anyone who can prove to me that Ali, na'udhu billah, was wrong in doing that? Or was not wrong? Can you prove that to me? Imam al-Salam mentioned many fadail of Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Salam. The manzilat of Ali, anta minni bimanzilati Haruna min Musa illa la nabiyya badi. Or, Aliyun ma'al haq, wal haqqu ma'a Ali. Or, Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Aliyun Babuha. All of these riwayat that were known to people. This person continued denying by saying that they were before he became Hakim. All these riwayat that you're mentioning about the superiority and the riwayat of the, exalted character of Ali became, were said before he became Hakim. After becoming Hakim, he killed Nahrawan, people of Nahrawan. So, how do you prove that? Imam al-Islam said, didn't the Prophet say in the Battle of Khaybar, لَأُعْطِيَنَّ الرَّأْيَةَ غَدًا رَجُلًا يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيُحِبُّهُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ كَرَّارًا غَيْرَ فَرَّارٍ لَا يَرْجِعُ حَتَّى يَفْتَحُ اللَّهُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. Imam said, when Prophet claimed that Allah and His Apostle love him, and he loves Allah and His Apostle, did they not know that he would kill the Khawarij in Nahrawan? Are you doubting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet, who's claiming for Ali ibn Abi Talib that yuhibbullahu wa rasulahu, the one who loves Allah and His Prophet, wa yuhibbuhullahu wa rasuluhu, this sentence, that Allah and the Prophet also loves them. We all claim to love the Holy Prophet. We all claim to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But is it the other way around as well? Does Allah love us as well? Does Prophet love us as well? Yes, definitely they do with their mercy and whatnot. But the reciprocal of this love, the way we should be expecting it. This sentence Imam proved and used to say that when Prophet claimed that Allah and His Apostle love him, love Ali, did they not know, na'udhu billah, that he would go ahead and kill the Nahrawan and the Khawarij of Nahrawan? He did not have any answer. How do you go ahead and say that no, Prophet did not know? Or Allah, na'udhu billah, did not know? So Imam won that debate over him. Second debate he had was with Hisham ibn Abdul Malik. He was the Khalifa of Umayyad, exiled Imam from Medina towards Syria. It wasn't a debate with him, but this fact that he sent Imam toward Syria because he was fearful of Imam's wujud. During his stay, he met people there, and one day he saw a Christian, and they were, making their way. People were making their way. These Christians were going up on this mountain, for which Imam inquired as to, is it a Christian festival that these people are going to? Someone said, no, there's an old man who is believed to have seen the companions of Prophet Jesus. He's a very knowledgeable man, so people are going for his ziyarah. So Imam al-Salam goes over there, makes his way, and Imam gets closer. While people were questioning, Imam also gets closer. This person asked Imam, are you amongst the ulama or are you amongst the ignorant, juhal? At this point, if someone says to me that, Maulana, are you alim or are you jahil? I would right away say, I'm alim, alhamdulillah. I've studied here and I've studied there and I've done this and I've done that. But look at the tawadu of Imam, who is baqaru ilmin nabiyyin. He said, I am not amongst the ignorant. Imam did not say, I'm amongst the ulama. He said, I'm not amongst those who are juhal and ignorant. That's the epitome, that's the height of the humbleness of Imam. He then asked Imam, what is that time which is neither the day or the night? Imam responded by saying, this is the time of the morning prayer, which is not considered part of day, nor is it considered part of night. In fact, this is the time of the paradise. People find cure at that time. The one who couldn't sleep all night long finds comfort and sleeps at that time. He said, the people of paradise, when they'll eat and when they will drink, and you say that they will not have the need to, you know, do rafa hajat, to go to the restroom, for example, after eating and drinking, because there's no system like that in paradise. How is that? How could that be understood in this world? Imam gave the example of, you know, the child in the womb of the mother, that how he consumes and eats and drinks and, you know, lives in that bubble of his, and he does not have the hajat. And says, how is it that we always mention in paradise that here you will think about and you will want something to eat and you will grab it from a tree and boom, there will be another one grown back right off to that. And nothing will run out. And as soon as you take something, second will grow up over there. How can we understand that in this world? Because, you know, a lot of these things about the Jannat or Jahannam are very difficult for us to understand. Quran oversimplifies it for us so that you and I, with taqarrub, with dhahni, understand these things. But it's very difficult. Imam gave the example so that you understand this concept and this phenomena. He said, by looking at a candle, that the example of this chirag, of this candle, that you can go ahead and light up another one, nothing decreases from it. Light up another one, nothing decreases from this. And you can light up 1,000 and nothing will decrease from the original one. So this is how the fruits are. You can keep on plucking and they will never run out, and next, you know, will be there right away. And then he continued asking Imam these questions. Imam gave answer of every one of them right away. And then Imam left. Imam says that that Christian monk, that Christian elderly who, you know, people were claiming had seen the companions of Hazrat Isa and was so old and whatnot, was very knowledgeable, came to me at night and he embraced the religion of Islam on my head. You know, Imam did not show off. Imam did not do anything. Imam used his knowledge to go ahead and convince this man that haqq is over here. Imam's mubahatha with Muhammad ibn Munqadar, who considered himself to be ascetic and a very pious above all, you know, he saw that himself to be, you know, superior to others. That's also a problem in our societies, that a moment someone, you know, becomes muttaqi parhezgar, you know, they go to Hajj or Ziyarat, and they come back, there's an impact upon them, you know, they start, you know, coming to the masjid and Imam Barga, they become regulars, and then, you know, they make this, they become this, have this station in maqam where, you know, alhamdulillah, people respect them because of their religiosity. And then it seems that these people then become rude and arrogant. And arrogance gets into them, creeps into them, while it should be the other way around. So this person who saw Imam al-Islam was working in the heat of the day, while the effect of tiredness was obvious. He advised Imam. He goes closer. He says, advises Imam not to go after the worldly goods so much that you're busy in the heat of this day. It is not worth a man of your status to do such a thing. What if you died going, you know, going into doing all of these things in these worldly goods? Imam alayhi being the Imam, and this ordinary man who's recently become very ascetic and parhezgar and muttaqi and pious is now advising Imam. Imam said in response, because this man had misunderstood the concept of, you know, working, that while Imam is working in the heat of the day, what's the purpose behind it? He said, if death came upon me in this condition, it will be while I am busy worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because earning halal for my family is an ibadat. You limited the concept of ibadat to those things that you do in on musalla or fast or those furu'adeen that you have learned. That's not the scope and the sphere of muharrama, you know, those things which are wajib upon you. It's beyond that. These are not the scope and the sphere of the ibadat. Ibadat are beyond all of that. So he said, since earning for your family is ibadat, You thought ibadat is only in the dhikr and the salat. I have expenses. If I don't work, I will not be able to fulfill those expenses. I will have to extend my hand for help toward people like you. The only time I should be afraid of death is when I have been disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I wish that death comes upon me while I'm in the state of working and doing the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And lastly, Imam's debate with Al-Mughayra ibn Sa'id al-Ajali, who lived in the era of 5th Imam, lived in Kufa, and came to see Imam in Medina and suggested to Imam that why don't you make an announcement? You have absolute ilm ghaib. I wish I had more time to discuss this, but I will go through it very quickly. And announce that you have given the Imarat of Iraq to me, the governance of Iraq to me. So you see that the reasoning behind the greed and to push Imam into saying something which Imam himself will decline. Imam asked him nicely to leave. This person then goes to Abu Hashim, Abdullah ibn Muhammad Hanafiya, who was the grandson of Amirul Mu'mineen. Unfortunately, there were many simple-minded Shias who were being misguided by this person. This is when Imam al-Baqir publicly stated, and he started condemning this person. He said, "La'an Allahu ala Mughayrat ibn Sa'id, kana yakzib alayna." That may Allah send his curse and la'anat upon him, this person who attributed things falsely to us. This is to completely uproot the problem that was existing. He's telling Imam to go ahead and announce that he has absolute ilm ghaib and give me the governance. Imam alayhi made sure that no one else would stand up and go and make the same claim. We find the life of Imam. Unfortunately, I'm running out of my time. About 9-10 minutes remain in my possession. I wanted to share a few words of wisdom from the Kalam of Imam. We find the forbearance of our 5th Imam. His dealing with the people, how calm he was when it came to, even when a person came and said things which were not nice. A person comes and calls Imam Baqir and makes fun of his name, Baqir. His title, rather. His name was Muhammad. And so Imam said, no, it's Baqir. It's not Baqir, it's Baqir. When he saw that he could not get under Imam's skin with his name, a lot of time when people make fun of someone's name, you love your name. You have this feeling that if someone is making fun of your name, then, and calling name is not a good habit. And Surah Hujurat talks about it. It's a very bad habit to call people with the name, these alqab. It's not a good thing. It's actually been made forbidden. So Imam, he sees that Imam did not get agitated with that. So then he picked on a topic which would make everyone agitated. He said, I heard that your mother was so-and-so, and made fun of Imam's mother. Now here, of course, this is your namus, this is your honor, integrity. Anyone would, take offense to that. But again, Imam sees things beyond the eyes of you and I. Imam then responded by saying, if what you associate with my mother is true, then I ask God for the forgiveness of my mother. And what you claim for my mom and my mother and you associated with her is false, then I ask Allah to forgive you for associating something so atrocious to my mother. Right away, this man sees that I can never get under the skin of this person, no matter how much I try. And so he gives up. Imam alayhi is known as Baqirul Ilmin Nabi, the one who split the knowledge of the Holy Prophet and other Anbiya. We see that prosperity of humans is in ilm and amal, the knowledge and then acting upon that knowledge. One hadith, and inshallah I will run out of my time. Imam says, and I won't even be able to go into the explanation of this hadith, unfortunately. Imam said, Al-ajabu kullu al-ajab, lishaki fi qudratillah wa huwa yara khalqallah. I'm surprised at the person who doubts in the power and the might of Allah when he can see Allah's creation. He has shak in the power and the qudrat of Allah. وَهُوَ يَرَى خَلْقُ اللَّهِ, while he sees that everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Again, I can't explain what Imam means over here because of time. He said, الْعَجَبُ كُلُّ الْعَجَبِ لِلْمُكَذِّبِ بِالنَّشْأَةِ الْأُخْرَى وَهُوَ يَرَى نَشْأَةَ الْأُولَى. I'm surprised at the person who denies the second rising, referring towards Qiyamah, when everybody will be raised from their graves, when they have seen Nash'at al-Ula, the first time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised. So when Allah can create the first time, He can create you the second time as well. وَالْعَجَبُ كُلُّ الْعَجَبِ لِلْمُصَدِّقِ بِدَارِ الْخُلُودِ وَهُوَ يَعْمِلُ لِدَارِ الْغُرُورِ. I'm surprised at the person who admits that there is eternal abode, while all he does is that he works for the temporary abode. وَهُوَ يَعْمِلُ لِدَارِ الْغُرُورِ. He knows that there is Dar al-Khulud, eternal abode, that he should be working for that, but he continues to, establish this Darul Ghurur. And then Imam says lastly, وَالْعَجَبُ كُلُّ الْعَجَبِ لِلْمُخْتَالِ الْفَخُورِ الَّذِي خَلَقَ وخلق من نطفة ثم يصير جيفة وهو فيما بين ذلك ولا يدري كيف يصنع به. I'm surprised at that self-praising, arrogant person who was created from an impure liquid. Then he converts into an impure corpse and has no hand or say in what happens between these two stages. So your ibtida was najis and your intiha is najis, and you have no control between these two najasat, yet you're what? Mukhtal and fakhur, arrogant. We find that the Holy Prophet instructed Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. He said to him that, "Oh Jabir, you will meet my grandson, and when you meet him, convey my salam to him." Jabir is someone who gets very old, and he says to the Holy Prophet that, how will I recognize him? Prophet said, "Ismuhu ismi wa shama'iluhu shama'ili." His name is same as my name, and his character and his khulq and his khilqat, everything is similar to mine. Jabir, this is a big hint. You heard the hadith, "Awwaluna Muhammad, awsatuna Muhammad, wa akhiruna Muhammad, wa kulluna Muhammad." This is the tashri' of that. Rasulullah, for the last 9 months of his life, would stop at the house of Bibi Fatmatul Zahra, and he would say, "Assalamu alayka ya ahla bayt an-nubuwwah." Today there's this bill which is being passed by the Punjab Assembly in Pakistan to create this diversion and sectarianism and to further divide us, which has no bearing, no need to do, in reference to the word alayhi salam, to be removed from the names of Ma'sumin. This is our belief, this is our aqidah. And then they want us to say radiyallahu anhu to those who are usurpers of the rights of Sayyidah. So the Holy Prophet stands at the house of Janab Sayyidah and he said, "Assalamu alayka ya ahla bayt an-nubuwwah." Prophet is the one who's saying Assalamu alayka. Alayhi salam is what? Assalamu alayka, salamullah alayk, alayhi salam, amu alayh. When you see someone in front of you, say Assalamu alayk. And when they're not, we say salutations be upon them. Prophet said that. And he said, well, okay, it was only for those people who were living at that time. Rasulullah said it about Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and Janab Sayyidah and Amir al-Mu'mineen. How do you extend it to the remaining Imams? He said this hadith right here. Jabir was instructed by the Holy Prophet that when you reach, you convey my salam to my grandson. Prophet is sending his salutation to the 5th Imam, and who's like me, his name is same as mine, and his character is same as mine. Imam al-Salam, was martyred in the year 114. But I want to take you back to the year 61 Hijrah. Imam is 4 years old. In that age when Imam experiences and faces and sees the difficulties of the event of Karbala. That waqi Karbala was witnessed by Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. Shair said, Shanidan kay buwad misladidan. Hearing, when it became equal to seeing. When you see something, as opposed to you hear something. There's a difference between the two. Fifth Imam saw all of those things with his own eyes. You and I hear the masaib of, Karbala, and we shed tears. Imam saw it from his own eyes. He was 4-year-old when he saw that the tents were burned down. He was 4-year-old when he saw that all of the Shabab of Ahlul Bayt and Banu Hashim were killed in front of his eyes. He was 4-year-old when he was going through the same Al-Atash and Al-Atash with Sakina was going through. He was 4-year-old when he saw that his father is Sahib Firash and cannot get up because he's sick and he's ill. He was 4-year-old, and some of the Riwayat mention that in the time of Sham Ghariba, before that, when all the kids were spread about and they could not find the kids, a man coming from Najaf, he saw this 4-year-old walking in the direction of Najaf. He said, "Who are you?" Imam mentioned his name, Muhammad al-Baqir. He said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm headed toward Najaf to call upon my grandfather, Amir al-Mu'mineen, to come and see what is happening in Karbala." Ajrakum Allah, may Allah give you no grief and sorrow except the grief and the sorrow of Ahlul Bayt. Last few words, Imam lived this life. In the year 114, Imam was given poison by the person by the name Hisham. Imam passes away. His Shahadat takes place. But his son was there. His janaza was taken out. He was taken to Jannat al-Baqi. He was buried next to his father and his grandfather. He was buried next to Imam Hassan and Imam Zainul Abidin. I would say, "Oh Maula, you may have suffered a great deal. You saw the atrocities of Karbala. You would recall what happened in Karbala. La yawmaka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. ألا لعنة الله القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our ibadah tonight. Oh Allah, we've committed a lot of sins. Please forgive our sins. Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq and ability to follow the commands and the teachings of Masumeen alayhim salatu wassalam. Oh Allah, hasten the dhuhr of great Imam and make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. Please recite the Surah Fatiha for the marhumeen, marhum Dr. Sikandar Madad, Ibn Sayyid Jawar Madad. Bismillah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya 'ala as-salah. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
متوجه زيادة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة الله، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا إمام الهدى، السلام عليك يا بدر الدجى، السلام عليك يا كهف التقى، السلام عليك يا قائد أهل التقوى، السلام عليك يا باقر علم النبيين، السلام عليك يا زين السماوات والأرضين. اللهم كما جعلته علما لعبادك ومستودعا لحلمك ومترجما لوحيك، وصل عليه أفضل ما صليت على عهد من ذرية أنبيائك وأصفيائك ورسلك وأمنائك يا رب العالمين. السلام عليك أيها الباقر لعلم الله، السلام عليك أيها الفاحص عن دين الله، السلام عليك أيها المبين لحكم الله، السلام عليك أيها القائم بقسط الله، السلام عليك أيها الناصح لعباد الله، السلام عليك أيها الداعي إلى الله، السلام عليك أيها الدليل إلى الله، السلام عليك أيها الفضل المبين، السلام عليك أيها النور الساطع، السلام عليك أيها البدر اللامع، السلام عليك أيها الحق الأبلج، السلام عليك أيها السراج الأسراج، السلام عليك أيها النجم الأزهار، السلام عليك أيها الكوكب الأبهار، السلام عليك أيها المنزه عن المعضلات، السلام عليك أيها المعصوم من الزلات، السلام عليك أيها الزكي في الحسب، السلام عليك أيها الرفيع في النسب، السلام عليك أيها الإمام الشفيق، السلام عليك أيها القصر المشيد، السلام عليك يا حجة الله على الخلق أجمعين. أشهد يا مولاي أنك قد صدعت الحق صدعا، وبقرت العلم بقرا، ونثرته نفرا، لم تأخذك في الله لومة لائم، وكنت لدين الله مكاتما، وقضيت ما كان عليك، وأخرجت أولياءك من ولايته غير الله إلى ولاية الله، ومرت بطاعة الله ونهيت عن معصية الله، حتى قبضك الله إلى رضوانه، وذهب بك إلى دار كرامته وإلى مساكن أصفيائه ومجاورة أوليائه. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس وعنيس النفوس، أيها المدفون بأرض تونس لي ابن موسى رضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الأسر والزمان، السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك، وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم